Good morning, traders. I am Emily Vani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Monday, July 15th. We kick off a big week for corporate earnings today as investors are making guesses as to the next rate decision from the Fed. On Friday, stocks ended higher. The Dow added 264 points or 0.62%. The Nasdaq advanced 115 points or 0.63%. The S&P 500 gained 30 points or more than 0.5%. Bill, let's get into a new week with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're up 0.34%. That's a strong opening. It looks like we're going to have a strong opening today. It really comes down to the Fed. Everybody's expecting now that the Fed's going to start lowering interest rates in September. That's a positive for the markets. And guess what? Today we're going to hear from Jerome Powell because he's going to be speaking later today. Other big news, Google is set to be close to a takeover deal with the cybersecurity startup Wiz. Deal's supposed to be worth $23 billion. Republican National Convention starts today. The Trump, assassination attempt over the weekend. It's causing headlines, but it's not really going to move the market. What I do find interesting, though, is Smith & Wesson, the gun manufacturer, is trading higher this morning. You're seeing those shares actually up little over 5% this morning. Earnings season underway. We had earnings results from Goldman and BlackRock this morning. We're looking overseas to see what's happening in the overseas market, and we are seeing some negativity. We're showing the DAX down 83 points or 0.44%. The big thing is the markets are cautious after China released some economic data that was weaker than expected. The FTSE's down to 27 points or 0.34%. The CAC is down 56 points or 0.73%. Luxury goods are taking a hit. Now, Burberry is a luxury good manufacturer that's listed in London. They replaced their CEO, or the CEO just stepped down. They've got to find a replacement. Shares are down like 16% after earnings. So, those luxury stocks really are taking a hit this morning. Then we're keeping an eye on Asia. Now, Tokyo was closed. Tokyo was closed for a holiday. Hong Kong fell 277 points or 1.52%, but it had that huge gain on Friday. Really, what's happening is, the China's GDP number came in at 4.7%. Expectations were for a 5.1% growth rate figure. Retail sales are weak. That's why you're seeing those retail stocks in Asia really getting hit this morning. And then China was actually up 0.09% fractionally. They start that key meeting, and the markets are expecting some policy stimulus to come out of that key meeting that's going on between now and Wednesday. So we'll keep an eye on those Asian markets for an announcement on stimulus. So keeping an eye on oil this morning. Oil is trading lower. It was flat to higher. Now it's flat to lower. We got WTI at $82.03 a barrel. You got Brent at $84.87 a barrel. The Chinese economic data really is causing the weakness this morning. But that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update this morning, Emily.
Bill, again, lots to watch today as we start this new week. You did mention the comments from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. We're going to get to the economic events of the day in just a moment. We do have a number of corporate earnings to mention, some big names, and they will keep up pace throughout the week. So, Bill, what is going on in terms of earnings action today?
We're going to start off with BlackRock, ticker BLK, Boy Larry Kilo. Those guys beat by 41 cents, but it was done on lower revenue. But, the stock's flat to higher, up 0.14%. Goldman Sachs, ticker GS, they beat by 26 cents, and they did that on higher revenue. Stock's flat, 47 at 479.60. That means it's down 0.06%. It was trading higher. It did bounce after the earnings announcements, but it's having a hard time holding those gains. Upcoming tomorrow morning, we got Morgan Stanley, ticker MS, Michael Sam, their EPS is $1.66. Expected move is 3.79%. Got Bank of America, ticker BAC, also reporting tomorrow morning. Their EPS is 79 cents with an expected move of 3.90%. And United Healthcare, ticker UNH, their EPS is $6.68. Expected move is 4.73%. Stocks up big this morning. We'll have to see if it's going to be able to hold those gains today. But that's what I have for you in terms of morning, in terms of earnings action this morning, Emily.
And Bill, you're keeping track of those earnings using your NewsWare. You have an alert set up for those. And, as action picks up there, you're still able to gather this information quickly. The other area that you're looking at this morning, as you do every morning, are economic events and reports. We did mention, everybody's keeping an eye on comments from Jerome Powell because of the possibility of upcoming, rate decisions, possibly a cut. So give us a look at everything we should be watching when it comes to economic events.
Well, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, we have the New York State Manufacturing Index. That's a key report. That could move the markets a little bit. And then at 12 noon, we're going to be hearing from Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. And at 4:30 p.m., 4:35 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be hearing from San Francisco Fed Bank President Mary Daly. This Powell speech today is going to be key. I'm not really expecting him to say anything new, but the market will be paying attention to what he says when he's talking later today. Also want to point out we got an ECB monetary policy meeting this week, and we got that China third PLEM meeting that starts today and it goes through Wednesday. Those are the two key economic events happening. But that's all what I have for you in terms of morning market update for economic events, Emily.
Bill, keeping track of all of that information and also other types of information and news, stuff that comes out of different sectors and segments. You're looking at things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings this morning. You also are looking at your stocks grouped together like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks, all using your NewsWare so you can gather this information quickly. So Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
I'm doing a quick data check. I'm showing 7 lower and 23 higher in the Dow. That's positive. Apple's showing some big gains. The rest of the stocks are running a little bit weak this morning. Tesla is showing gains. Between Tesla and Apple, and Google's just flat to higher. But news behind it, like Apple. Apple was added to the Morgan Stanley top pick list this morning with a price target of 273. Listen, stock's up 2% this morning, having a nice gain. Amazon, ticker AMZN, we got stocks trading a little lower, but that Prime Day sales event starts tomorrow, creates a lot of attraction for the stock. Google, they're said to be acquiring that cyber startup Wiz, $23 billion deal. Hasn't been finalized yet, but the talks are ongoing. Netflix, listen, Netflix is showing a little weakness. We do know that their earnings are coming out later this week. Citi's neutral on it. JP Morgan just raised their price target on the stock, so something to keep an eye on. In terms of Dow Jones 30 stocks, we want to talk about Boeing because Boeing has stated that their 777-9 certification flight trials with federal regulators has started. So that they're going to start, getting approvals for those planes, and that's going to be positive. Goldman Sachs is out with a report on generative AI stocks saying, they could be at the top because, the fact is they're not sure if the investment's going to actually turn into additional revenue for these companies that are, doing a big CapEx spend in order to, access all these AI chips. That's what I'm seeing for the Dow stocks. In terms of merger news, CLF, Cleveland Cliffs, they're buying Canada Steel Company in a $2.5 billion cash and stock deal. In terms of guidance news, AutoNation, ticker AN, they came out with an SEC filing this morning. Now, their street estimates were at $4.60. They just came out and they updated their guidance. Their new guidance is $3.15 to $3.30. Ooh, that's ugly. That's a big hit lower, and that stock's trading down this morning, down 2.97%. We got shareholders meetings going on with ADSK and Alcoa this morning. We got Investors Day as SMG, and Prime Day starts tomorrow for Amazon. That's all I'm seeing in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that Newsware delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick of the day to start this week?
Well, I'm going to go with Interactive Brokers, ticker IBKR, India Boy Kilo Richard. EPS is tomorrow afternoon. EPS is $1.69. Expected move is 4.44%. Now you look at Friday's call volume, 882 calls versus 288 puts. You look at the open interest, 18,095 versus 13,978. Then you look at the major brokers, they are raising price targets on the stock. They do like it. And, I do feel like I am cautious. I said I've been cautious on, Goldman. I was cautious on, JP Morgan and some of the banks. But this is a pure broker play. And I think that they're going to show some good results. My entry price, I got to say, 122.25 to 122.50, somewhere in that range. And then I think I should be able to show a gain of at least 1% by tomorrow morning. But that's my pick of the day. Interactive Broker, ticker IBKR, India Boy Kilo Richard, Emily.
Now looking for that 1% and IBKR today, and looking at a specific entry price, which is what you did on Friday. And coming up, we're going to do a recap on that pick of the day, so stick with us. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, take it away.
Let's start off with HPQ, Henry Paul Quinton. Stock's trading slightly higher this morning, but the bid offer is, bid offer is fair. HP announced 2 new AI-based innovations. Goldman Sachs increases the quarterly dividend to $3 per share for the third quarter. Chicago Fed Bank President Austin Goolsbee said last week about the mild inflation is going to create a scenario where interest rate cuts will soon be warranted. Rare earth prices are in the doldrums. China wants to keep them that way. JDD down 4% this morning. China's GDP and retail sales stayed and missed expectations. It's really causing some weakness in that sector today. PDD is down, 3.37%. JD is actually now down 2.66%. And Alibaba is down 1.93%. But JD was down more earlier. Beam Therapeutics, ticker BEAM, CFO stepping down early next month. A lot of housing data coming out this week. Meta Platforms is working on a novel approach to its AI models in a project named Strawberry. Could be interesting. Meta's trading off, but I do think it could push back. It's going to push back over that 500 figure. And that's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into trading at the start of another week, let's do that check-in on Friday's pick of the day, which was GE Vernova. Now, when we're talking entry points, you were looking for an entry point around 177.45 on Friday. The stock opened up at 177.95. That is pretty close. It dipped a little bit from there and then climbed. I may have given it away, but how did your call work out?
Yeah, it worked out well. I mean, I definitely thought I was going to see some weakness in the stock in the morning, and the stock did open up at 177.95. It did fall then to 174.50, but then it climbed right back up. It hit a high of 184.33. So, off your opening price or my entry price of 177.45, either way, you got your 1%, and it closed out the day at 180.45. So, GEV, Grace Edward Victor, was a winner on Friday. It was a good trade.
A win there, Bill, and we will check in with you tomorrow about today's Interactive Brokers pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow and each weekday morning this week at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Bonney, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.